Everything's now an opportunity to make some money, be it a national holiday, a tribute, or a celebration of something historical. We've seen major companies and brands jumping on the Pride Month bandwagon pretty quickly, even if they're all year long famous for being extremely homophobic. We're looking at you, Chick-fil-A. In this video, we'll talk about how Juneteenth was picked by these companies to increase their target audience, and it turned sour pretty quickly. First off, the Racist Halo color theme. Doesn't matter if you actually understand what the holiday is about, if it's bringing money, you gotta act like you know all about it. And while sometimes it might work, it didn't work very well for Halo this time. Wouldn't expect something like that from a gaming giant like Halo, but it did happen when Halo Infinite recently added a very racist color palette. Many brands sell commemorative merch during Juneteenth, the official United States holiday for the day when Texas proclaimed freedom for slaves. Texas was the final U.S. state to do so, and its impact has been huge on the history of the country. And while selling merch during holidays with such sensitive subjects is a little shady in itself, it just becomes completely inappropriate when you don't even do it right. One item was named incredibly wrongly, and it caused the company to face a lot of backlash. As you know, Halo Infinite features emblems and color palettes that control how your player character looks. Now let's get to the racial significance. This new color palette first got famous on the Halo subreddit, where they showed the emblem attached to Juneteenth was titled bonobo. Now, bonobo is an endangered species of monkey, right? Let that sink in for a while. Yeah, if you get our drift, and apparently Halo's drift. But if you don't, we'll fill you in as to why this was terribly problematic, causing waves of anger across the globe. It's a very racist practice of comparing non-white people to animals, and specifically black people to apes. Why did they feel the need to do this, and what the innocent meaning behind this was is a little difficult for us to understand. Was it an honest mistake or a very bad publicity stunt? We don't know, but developers 343 Industries fixed the problem in a hurry. It was first renamed Freedom, and then simply to Juneteenth. A little on the nose, but we guess we'll take it. At least it wasn't named after a primate. In an official statement, Bonnie Ross, corporate vice president of Microsoft Game Studios and head of 343i itself, tweeted that they were made aware of a palette option for their Juneteenth emblem that contained a term that was hurtful and offensive, and that the team immediately addressed the issue through an update. He continued on to say that they are a studio franchise that is committed to inclusivity, where everyone is welcome and supported to be their true self. He said he apologizes on behalf of 343 for making a celebrated moment a hurtful moment. Well, they had to do some damage control, and if the vice president herself would come out and apologize to the people, that's gonna hold some weight. Who knows what the reality is, but that's how it'll be portrayed. But was it an honest mistake? Well, maybe it really was, and there wasn't any conspiracy behind it. The truth has come out, and the reasons for this error have also come to light. Apparently, an internal tool that old Halo developers Bungie inherited by 343i when they started to develop mainline Halo games is titled Bonobo. Senior community manager John Junishek in a bunch of tweets confirmed it by saying that they strive to create diverse and inclusive gaming communities. While the original name refers to an internal toolset, it wasn't intended to be applied to this content, and they recognize the harm it may have caused. He continued and said that palette was incorrectly named and was immediately renamed, while images and old posts also started circulating the internet, confirming the tool's common use. But what's a bit suspicious is how the fix was applied so incredibly fast. Halo users on their subreddit commented how it was the quickest update they'd ever seen, and realized they'd never again see it get updated so quickly. Maybe they will, if Halo again makes a mistake offending people of marginalized communities. Can't say that that's not a common practice among these huge brands and companies, so it's possible we'd see more of these blunders. Exactly how it happened hasn't been made clear either. One theory is that the color combination was named before it was ever assigned to this particular emblem, then not checked thoroughly enough before release. From personal experience, text strings are some of the most boring and frustrating things to QA, so they can see how it would slip through the cracks. And Juneteenth is actually a new holiday, officially recognized as a national holiday in the US by President Biden last year. So considering there was no such thing as a holiday for Juneteenth before, making it slightly, just slightly less of a big deal before, we can see it skipped the quality manager's eyes. Mistake or not, it still happened and caused harm to a community that already doesn't feel very safe in the United States, thanks to many new reasons they're given all the time. When a company like Halo does something that insensitive, it's bound to make people lose their trust in them. And it always stays on the internet, no matter how quickly you update your game. But for now, let's move ahead with other related news. First up, two insurance companies end relationship with main agency after racist Juneteenth Juneteenth sign. Unfortunately, Halo wasn't an isolated incident. Residents in the town of Millinocket, Maine, say they are outraged and disappointed after a local insurance agency displayed a racist sign remarking on the Juneteenth holiday. You think you've been disappointed enough, things turn worse and surprise you. Insurance companies Allstate and Progressive have terminated their relationships with the agency. The sign taped to the front of Harry E. Reid Insurance Agency stated in large font said, "Juneteenth, it's whatever. We're closed. Enjoy your fried chicken and collard greens." If you don't know how terrible and insensitive this sign is, we're here for you. African slaves used Scottish frying techniques and African seasoning techniques in the American South. Fried chicken provided some means of an independent economy for enslaved and segregated African American women, who then later became noted sellers of poultry in the 1730s. Not only that, but collard greens were one of the few vegetables that African Americans were allowed to grow for themselves and their families back in slavery time. And even after the Africans were emancipated in the late 1800s, cooked greens were a comfort in the African American culture and still hold importance. An image of the racist sign was shared online Monday, gaining the attention of thousands across social media. The insurance company faced criticism online, and people left one-star reviews on Google and Yelp. Instead of owning up to their mistake, though, they removed those comments. A review on Yelp wrote, "Wondering how a company called Progressive could let this agency represent them, or is Progressive a company that believes in racism?" Progressive spokesperson Jeff Sybil then wrote in an email that the company is aware and appalled by the sign, and that it is terminating its relationship with the agency. What's more, companies are selling Juneteenth branded products, and why that's a big problem. From store-branded Juneteenth ice cream to Juneteenth-themed paper plates and party supplies, to even selling a Juneteenth watermelon salad. Many large companies and brands are facing backlash for their efforts where they're commemorating the federal holiday. Because of such negative reactions from the public on social media, Walmart had to pull its special edition flavor of ice cream that celebrated Juneteenth. Many critics are calling out the retailers for capitalizing on this holiday for personal profits. And why is it such a big deal, you may ask? These companies selling and promoting Juneteenth branded products are tone deaf, profiting off black suffering. When a large corporation comes in, uses that further marketing, capitalizes off it, and sells it, it's basically modern-day colonialism. And finally, a Juneteenth event that examines the meaning of freedom. Since it's been legalized as a national holiday, people are celebrating Juneteenth, remembering the historical day. One such event happened at Lincoln Center in New York City, where a starry group of black artists presented an outdoor event that not only marked the day, but also examined the very idea of freedom itself. Carl Hancock Rooks, a poet, author, playwright, actor, and musician, conceived and curated the event, called "I Dream a Dream That Dreams Back at Me." He says he has complicated feelings about the holiday, traditionally celebrated with hot dogs, firecrackers, and music. He then says that Juneteenth shouldn't be celebrated the way it is celebrated because people were enslaved, who shouldn't have been slaves in the first place. And when they finally get information that they're free, they don't have anywhere to go. No land, no housing, and only promises. Ruck said he wanted to create an evening that took the audience on a journey and ask, how do we celebrate freedom? And how do we do more than just celebrate freedom, but actually question the notion of freedom? That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on Juneteenth and modern-day racism? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one. Bye.